Hello, hello. Hopefully we getting started. Let me check. Let me quickly check. And it shows it's live. So welcome to my 92nd episode of Late Night Developer Talks with Romantic Developer. It's Romantic Developer. And we talking about multiple topics, not only about software development or OpenAI or just generic artificial intelligence, but also about multiple variety of multiple topics. Uh, mm, okay, comments. Okay, yes. So variety of multiple topics from discussing complexities of being father, husband, a human on the earth, uh, how countries treat its people, how government doing the best for its people, all that wars, all that media campaigns, truth, false, lies, and so on in the world. So there are so multiple topics to discuss, and we actually covered many of those. Not fully, we just touch it. And also, there are days when I just share some of my personal reflection of the day. I try to think about something or talk with my wife. She is a certified psychologist and she knows so a lot um, about human mind and soul. So it always a very interesting discussion sometimes happening between us. And yeah, so I'm sharing some my summaries of those discussions as well. Yes, and recently we talked about some of the common phrases and the fact that actually people so let me think how to tell you about it. Let's imagine a situation when you have when we have some like earth physics. Yes, what does it mean? It means that if you using some holding something and then just throw it will fall to the bottom because of gravity. It's law of the physics. The same thing, I don't know, if you put in the bottle water, it would be in the bottle, but it will not go up again because of gravity, and it will be in the bottle as a whole because of also some physics of how water exists and so on. But now let's imagine that all of this are true, but now multiple things start happening. Like when you drink water, it just fly like a birds. Some things you just keep it, you let it free and it's fly as well. Or it just stick somewhere in the space that you couldn't move it. And so on and so on. And you hear some sounds from nowhere. Some areas are hot, some areas are super cold. So, but normally, like other laws of the physics are working, but there are multiple occasions which it doesn't work. And what you will do and it's beyond your capability to understand what's going on. what you will do. You have several choices, like just go and go crazy and I don't understand what's going on, and your mind is walk away and you're la 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 la. That's it. Or you just accept that reality and act like nothing happened. It's what most people do. And it's just one example, but normally people do those all the time in real life. So what I mean, they could talk, like they could have as a like their priorities or their facts or their principles, two principles which work against each other. I don't know, like mm, let's imagine very very simple but not very fun and very painful topic like war in Ukraine. Many people want to for Ukraine to win. Yes, they said, "Oh, Russia did wrong thing when they started that war," and yeah, actually, Russia started that war, and it was wrong thing for sure. It should be punished. We should win. But the other time they said, "Okay, I don't want to go to army and fight." Uh, and also, you could say, "I don't want to pay more of my money to keep army going, to keep all the ammunition, etc., etc." And I don't like when some army recruiter center, we call them TCK, they catch some people on the street, and if they don't have all the documents, they just catching them, put into some car or bus, or we have some small type of bus, and went with them to army center when they need to pass medical exams, like make all their details current. And in many cases, if you don't have um, any special occasions why you shouldn't go to army, you can go to army even the same evening to like some learning center, of course. And that's it. Interesting. I opened some topic, but it actually not the topic. Okay. Yeah, I looked at my previous stream for some reason, and what is nice that I could even leave some. It allowed me to leave some comments, which is really weird. I haven't left any, but I mean it's kind of allowed me. Okay, now I connected to the proper stream, hopefully. So I probably will not miss any your live stream comments and so on and so on. So there are multiple facts which people really wish, like they wish a victory of Ukraine, but they don't want to accept all the realities. Or if you really wish, you just do everything to achieve that. Or if you don't want to do everything to achieve it, just consider some other option. Maybe it should be some negotiations, peaceful negotiations, or other options. Maybe you should, yeah, allow Russia to get some territories, maybe temporarily, maybe not. So again, it's yeah, it's very hard question, but people, yeah, they live, of course, in media world, in propaganda, but it's done so roughly that 1 + 1 not equals 2. It's equal 3, 4, or 5, but never 2. And they said, okay, we accept that, we accept that, we accept that. Because if we wouldn't accept that, we will be different from other people, and we need to spend many our energy just to to get out from that situation where 1 plus 1 equals 3, and go back to some beautiful world where 1 plus 1 equals 2. I still think that it's quite complex topic, not because I'm explaining it complex, but because it's complex itself. People don't want to live in a real world. It's much more complex than live in some imaginary world, especially if those image or that imaginary is worked for the whole country or for large group of the people. Then it will be much simpler for them, because if you don't want to live in those imaginary world created for you by someone, you need to ask question at least yourself. You need to start thinking. You need to start maybe finding some information and again thinking. And after that, of course, you should accept. You should watch. You should do analysis and so on. I don't say you should do it all like 8 hours a day, but at least, yeah, you should start put attention into that field. And initially, if you live in that imaginary world, to accept that there is some real world and it's not so nice as your imaginary world, it could be very complex. Now, when I told you about it, I just remembered a great movie, especially first part and maybe first few parts are Matrix. And do you remember when Neo, or maybe other people, not only Neo, should wake up in real world, and many people who woke up in the real world, which is not so nice, where machines took over the people and take control, and they use people to produce some energy, and they put people in some imaginary world of theirs, and so they could produce what they need. So they use them like we use, I don't know, chickens or cows or some garden farms, I mean some plants and so on and so. Of course plants is slightly different, but yeah. So you could think about domestic animals like in that world, like people. So yeah, everyone and some people say, okay, I don't want to live in that world, it's so hard, put me back in imaginary world and give me some bonuses in that world, and I will be ready to to betray my friends, my other people, just to live in imaginary world. And everyone thought, okay, it's science fiction, it's fiction at all. But at the end, actually, it's what going on every day in our real world. People, when they understand that there are real world, not just their imaginary media world with some nice pictures and with some battles, I don't know, between Democrats or Republicans, with some war somewhere very far away between Russia and Ukrainians, which are the same nation but apparently not the same, because they talk the same language but apparently not the same, and so on and so on. It's nice word, but when you start to look into reality, you just want to close the door and say, okay, I don't want that reality anymore, please put me back. And with that, it's basically I don't know. It's like you just close doors to your school, to your education, to lesson which you should pass here. So you just remaining somewhere, laying on sofa and saying, just get off. I will watch my TV and I don't want to do anything with real world. And in that situation, very hard. It's very hard for people actually to get out from that state and go into the real world and see what it is and start dealing with it, because it's something unknown lands. You should be discoverer and should be full of energy discoverer. Yeah, and just recently we talked that we invest a lot of energy into our images images when we imagine some word, and we imagine it in multiple contexts. In some of the best contexts is when we dream about something good, nice, light, I mean producing light rather than darkness, kind, and so on. It's our dream when we imagine how everyone is happy, how we are happy with our life, and how we could make happy everyone else around us, and some beautiful word. If we spend time to imagine some different things, like how we will revenge to people, how people will struggle, how they will be hurt, and so on, it's it's not it's not actually dreams, good dreams. It's when you build some reality, when you could take power and do something you want to do with people, basically do harm to them. Yes, and we talk that we build those realities starting from our childhood, early childhood. Whenever we got offended, we start building those realities, and we use a lot of our energy to support those realities, even if we forget about them. Uh, but they're still there, and they still require part of our energy. So if you really want to get back some of your energy to make great things, to dream about great things, to do hobbies, do your work beautifully, have time for everything else, maybe you should get back some of your energy which you invested without thinking a lot, and because you were young and full, you did something not so wise. Yes, so just ask your subconscious, just ask yourself, just ask God if you believe into God and everyone else, and say, hey, I don't want to support those realities. They already play their role, they did perform a lesson for me, and now I want to move on, and I want to use those energy which I invest into all of those things back, because it wasn't a light and beautiful dream about bright future when I'm doing something, inventing creations, building happily environment, and so on and so on. But I use it for some simpler wars, thoughts about revenge, about having powers, about having, yeah, so state when I could command other people, and so on and so on. So yeah, and it could work. I trying to do that. I just recently understand that actually I don't know if every our thoughts will create parallel universe, but for sure every our thought creates some energy object, and that energy object should consume something, and it consume our creativity energy. Yes, our energy of our inner self. So we should let it go. Okay, so I think that is my personal reflection from today. Sorry if it was too complex maybe someone, if it's close, the topic is close to you. I mean, if you feel something similar things, maybe you could write few words just to describe, maybe in better English. And yeah, maybe we could return to that and see that it's something similar. I hope that on my streams people come which are adventurous and which are ready to change and ready to take responsibility for their life and start living their life and not watching some TV or some series which someone created for them, scenario. So hopefully you are those type of people who don't want that. So you hear me out and put some comment and we could discuss it. So about software world, we did some local AI helper which we could use to do, so we built it in very simple way, like batch files which ask you some URL of video, and then it use multiple utilities which we should install. It's one-time operation. Maybe we will discover other way how we could do that, but I'm not sure what will be easier, or like install Docker, download Docker image and use that and execute then our code in the Docker, for example. It's like some container where everything will be pre-installed what we need. Or just say, hey, we just need these few programs. You can go to their website and see what those programs are doing. Most of them are open source. All of them basically are open source because we're using YouTube DLP. We're using Whisper, we're using maybe Python, and to execute something. And what? And we use curl curl to execute HTTP request to OpenAI service, API service, to get completion, basically to ask question and receive responses from OpenAI. And then we just use some system utilities to interpret that and extract text. Basically, we use some commands from PowerShell. So yeah, that's what we did before. And we put it into our GitHub. And let me see. My computer is not basically on where we did all of those things. Why? Because we try to finish that on on that computer, which is not so powerful. It not completely bad for sure. It has a lot of memory. It has some SSD disk, and it has Windows 11, and it has iCore processor like i5, not the latest of course, but I mean it could do something. It has Iris X graphics card, which not so useful for executing AI related stuff, but still. So, but now because we already put it into GitHub, probably we could open our romantic developer screen. I'm just restoring it. How to delete something. And we have here that thing like Whisper and Git. We just need go to Git. What? Browser did something. Unexpected. Okay. Okay, and let's just do sign in and do sign in. Okay, so let's go to our profile and we have our YouTube helper. Please tell me if anyone need a link. I provided it during past stream. So we created here a local YouTube AI helper. So now let's start asking some questions because I'm not really sure about everything, like what is better or best in current development world. You need to understand that I started development when good program language for me was like Quick Basic. Assembler was something beautiful because it allowed to use some interpretation from keyboard to mouse, which, for example, allowed me to create some games when both players could hit something on keyboard and it would be listened by the program. And then the very top level language was Pascal, not Delphi, just Pascal, Borland Pascal. And maybe close to end of the school, I opened for myself Word of C and C++ and tried to, yeah, like teach it, like learn it from scratch very quickly. And then in my university, I learned so many languages, but some are very exotic, like Prolog, like Lisp. Hopefully you never listen about them, or maybe you heard about them, but yeah. So when I telling that I'm not sure how doing things right now, it's not completely true. I know how to do the things, like in my company, in my projects, but even within one company, in different projects, people could do things completely different. So let's say, oh, we need to put. So let's switch to English. And it's free version of ChatGPT. I have free version of, I just registered on ChatGPT. It allows you to use some GPT-4 or for some time, maybe 40, maybe less conversations or like messages in conversation. So everyone could try it and use it, and I do it a lot on my streams because it's knowledgeable. So let's say that we have something and we have, I have a public repository. I put there a batch file which allow to download YouTube video as MP3, transcribe it with Whisper, and use curl to execute lamp prompts to extract some useful information from the transcript. I want to provide details how to set up and use this program. What is preferable, wiki or readme, or you can propose best practices. So, and two responses. We received two responses. That means that one of the response most probably would be generated by GPT for OR, and the other response, it was generated pretty fast. So maybe the other response generated by something like GPT-01 mini, probably. But let's see. So for the commenting, setup and usage of your program, both README and Wiki great options, but they serve different purpose and could be combined effectively. README. The first thing people will see when they visit your repository: project overview, features, quick start, example use case, wiki, extended documentation purpose for more detailed guides and troubleshooting information, complex setup covering multiple scenarios, strata attack, fuck and troubleshooting, contributing. If you expect others to contribute, providing guidelines for code contributions, bug reports, and feature requests help maintain consistency. README general info, wiki for detailed guides, links, interlink README and wiki. Okay, it sounds good, and I saw that a lot. When you have wiki, which when you have README file which allow you to use, which have links to the wiki pages, which have much more detailed information. But README itself is a good start. So yeah, probably it's nice option. And that is talking basically the same. I prefer this response. So okay, it's my romantic developer. So nice picture. It's so peaceful. So peaceful. Okay, let's go to our repository. Let's get our AI helper. And we want our romantic developer, ChatGPT. Yeah, here. Could you help me with writing readme file from the script? Let's see. Actually, really cool features, requirements, setup. Configure prompts. Usage. And it's still combining that thing. Okay, what if we just copy all of those and let's try to insert where? Insert here. What if we click here and we say that we want to create new readme and maybe in edit. So let's just create here preview code, edit in place. Okay, you know what? I'm trying to remember how it's possible to edit README file in nice way, but I don't see paste. So if we paste it right away, it doesn't provide any nice code features. And if you try to reply, no. Can you return me content in MD syntax? Okay, it's what I want. It will return us content in markdown format. So you see, now with ChatGPT or similar things, writing documentation is just easy peasy. Easy peasy. It's simple. It's not as complex as before, especially if you don't want to create it professionally. So it should be fine, should be good. And let's, okay. Basically stopped. Let's see if we could insert the whole answer here in edit. You know, looks like it's worked fine, except markdown. We should remove it. And now we have everything in proper thing. Let's preview it. YouTube helper features requirements. Setup, install requirement tools, obtain API key, configure prompts, usage, run the script. So basically we could commit the changes with that update readme directly into the main. Normally you shouldn't commit directly to the main, but because it's just beginning of the project and we do simple things like readme files, etc., I think it's acceptable. But once we do all the setup, we need to make our main branch not committable directly, but through pull request. It's a good approach. We don't have many developers here. We have only one right now. But even with one developer, pull approach is better than commit directly, because you have a small chance to review it. And also right now for pull request in multiple platforms, including GitHub, including Visual Studio Code, it's possible to set up some AI helpers which will do some review for you and ask some questions. So it could be still helpful. Okay, so we created that readme here. Maybe we just keep readme file. We will work on updating it maybe tomorrow. Yeah. And yeah, we also create a readme file for overall readme file when we just go to the repository. And yeah, and start thinking about doing local YouTube AI helper in Python. It's not the language I'm too familiar with, so it would be some small challenge for me as well, but hopefully really small, because we are not going to use some very big libraries. which we should know. We will use maybe some OpenAI and some basic things which ChatGPT should help us with. Yeah. So I think that's it for the stream. I feel slightly tired today. I don't sleep a lot, so didn't sleep a lot. So I don't want to go into details because I will be lagging and hanging worse than my computer. So yeah, I'll try to do it tomorrow. I mean, working, not hanging on that. And we'll think about future plans in software development part. If you have any suggestions, who watching me right now or will watch in recording, please put a comment. I really would be happy to hear something from you, even if it's not actual questions, if it's not actual recommendation, but just hi. I will reply you hi. Okay. As usual, wish you nice time of the day. Every time you watch it, I wish you nice time of the day. And based on our recent discussions, I wish you to live. I wish you to live in real world and live in real world happily and nicely. And also I wish you not to lose a lot of your energy on the thing you understand you don't want to spend a lot of energy anymore. Hopefully you'll do that decision for yourself as well. So I think that's it. I will try to do my stream tomorrow at 10 p.m. PST, but of course it could be slightly postponed as well if I don't have any availability to do that at 10 p.m. Yeah, I'll try to return to 10 p.m. But before the stream, normally if I couldn't start it in time, I normally edit it and put some time marker which is more realistic for me. So, and from that time marker, normally I start right or within 5 minutes. Okay, so see you whenever you are ready. Have a great time of the day and be happy. See you.